Mario Kart. Man, what a series. This crazy kart racer is most definitely my personal favorite multiplayer series. From getting lost in Yoshi's Valley back on the N64, to the epic climb of the Wii Sports volcano Makawoohoo, Mario Kart just knows how to make any party a hectic road rage. Not to mention all the game modes too. You got your classic battle mode, your coin runners, and of course, your Grand Prix. Grand Prix has been the standard game mode since the SNES days, where you tackle all of the courses in a cup to compete for first place for overall ranking. When playing a Grand Prix, you also have the choice between 3 engine classes: 50cc for slow and easy gameplay, which is ideal for starter players, the 100cc, which is your average speed with regular AI racers, and the legendary 150cc, which cranks the speed up and lets those AI show you their most difficult form. And oh ho 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 ho, it's not over yet! Since Mario Kart 64, you have also been able to unlock the Extra mode, or Mirror mode, which gives you the 150cc class on top of mirroring all the courses. But then, Nintendo decided they needed more challenge! In late April 2015, Nintendo released alongside their second DLC pack, a new class for the Grand Prix, 200cc. This is by far the fastest we've ever gone in any Mario Kart, and I doubt we'll be seeing anything faster because this game mode is so difficult that some turns aren't physically possible to take without slowing down. Honestly, it sounds very intimidating, and granted, it's pretty tough to get down. But with enough practice, I've discovered that 200cc might just be my favorite game mode of all. Except, no one else seems to like it. So I can't play it online. Sad face. And hey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was just announced too, and according to this article on Prima Games, it seems to be 200cc is making a return. So, that's where I come zooming in today with the first ever episode of How to Play, my in-depth strategy and walkthrough series. Any game, anytime, anywhere. If you're going to win that tournament or the heart of that specially geeky someone, or just outright destroy the relationship altogether, this series is what's gonna teach you at least some of the tricks to make that dream a reality. With all that out of the way, let's hurry up and boost forward! Okay, so you probably don't need me to remind you that the key to any Mario Kart race is being able to get as far ahead and as quick as you can. The longer you're in that war zone, the more likely you are to be murderated by 15 red shells and maybe a lone banana too. If you're at all new to the Mario Kart series, there's a trick that's been incorporated since Mario Kart DS, where if you begin accelerating as soon as the 2 begins to disappear on screen, you will start the race with an additional speed boost. As useful as this is in most races, especially when you're in the back, I don't necessarily recommend doing this for every race. The longer you wait to start accelerating after the 2, the less of a boost you're gonna get. If you're unconfident with your cornering and a course starts off with a bend like Baby Park, or really most courses, then maybe hang back a little bit to prepare yourself for that initial turn. But again, there really isn't a course that doesn't start off with a turn relatively soon, so don't think that there's too much strategy involved there. Another tactic to getting a short boost is to allow yourself to fall behind to rank up what items you're able to get. Mario Kart 8 uses a distance system as opposed to a race ranking system when distributing items. Essentially, it tracks how many in-game units you are from the first place racer. For instance, you won't really be able to get a blue shell unless you're about 5,500 units from the leader. Meaning you could technically get it in second place, but with that same notion, the game generally won't really give you a super horn unless you're higher ranked, as the super horn is best used for an easy way to get rid of the infamous blue shell. And speaking of the Super Horn, it's an item introduced in Mario Kart 8, which, as previously mentioned, has the ability to block any incoming item to you, including the blue shell. If you find yourself higher in the ranks, more so in first, do your best to not use it unless an absolute emergency has risen. Of course, if you're feeling lucky, the Super Horn also acts as a 360 offensive shield, which can spin out rivals and is a great crowd clearer. If you want to risk losing it, then go ahead and do that. Alright, so that just about does it for all basic Mario Kart tips for now, but how's about we look into what you really came here for? That's right, we're talking 200cc, baby! Remember that part where I said 200cc makes turns more difficult? Well, you're going to see that right off the bat with your first turn. Yeah, you get rocketing straight out of the gates. Even a setup with terrible acceleration like mine gets going pretty quick. And this should go without saying, but always pay close attention to your vehicle's stats when starting a race. If you find yourself unable to react fast enough to these turns, try picking a lighter weight character, which takes a hit in speed for better handling and traction. And in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which will release for the Nintendo Switch on April 28th, there's also the brand new Smart Steering feature, which will help you stay on the course as well. I can only imagine that it will help you learn to get better over time. And turns in 200cc in all reality can be pretty brutal. But actually, in both 200cc and high-level 150cc, there is a good technique to making these turns much sharper, which I like to call brake pedaling. To effectively use brake pedaling, you need to first make sure that while making a drifting turn, continue to hold the drift button and maintain the directional influence you are inputting. Then, fluctuate a few presses to the brakes. I know, who could have guessed based on that incredibly weird name? But despite what your intuition might make you think, you won't actually be losing that much speed. Instead, you begin to do what's called a quick turn, which was implemented as a way for players to quickly turn around in the battle mode in Mario Kart 8, which, as we all know, takes places on courses, which was terrible. But hey, good thing they fixed that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Happy day. Or it can be made to do some sick donuts. Oh yeah! Now, drifting is already kind of difficult to master in 150cc, let alone 200cc. But why don't you give it a few tries before you just outright think it's impossible, like I did at first? Of course, drifting is the key way to gain best times in any form of Mario Kart, so perfecting it in 200cc is essential if you want to get those best times. For larger turns, try drifting on the outer edge while doing a little bit of brake pedaling. Also while drifting, lean the direction opposite of your turn every now and then to keep yourself just on the outside ring. Then, once you see the turn coming to a close, brake pedal hard to reach the inside corner. If possible, try to drag your drift into a red flame for additional boosting off the drift. For shorter and more narrow turns, do multiple hard brake pedals to keep a consistent turn without passing the middle of the road. In any racing game, it's a rule of thumb to keep to the inside edges of your turns, because the overall time around the curve will most definitely be shorter. And again, it's especially important to do drifting around corners. Yeah, you can let off the acceleration to slow yourself down and cruise corners, but for larger turns you really won't be able to do it efficiently without brake pedaling. Also noteworthy is knowing the difference between karts, bikes, and the ATVs. If you drive a kart like I tend to do, you want to make sure to make as little movements as possible, because karts go their fastest on straightaways, so wiggling around even slightly will affect your top speed. Bikes excel in inside drifting, which essentially allows you to more easily hug those tight turns and is less forceful on the brake pedaling tactic. And finally, the ATVs are more closer to a kart, a little bit slower, but they are much better when you're going off-road, hence the name. But in all reality, none of these is really the correct definitive answer. They're all equally viable in their own rights. And in 200cc, it's good to know that, especially with the ATV, that off-roading doesn't actually affect your speed all that much. Take Baby Park, for example. You can actually go pretty much the whole course in drifting, because this little patch of grass here doesn't actually slow you down all that much. And it applies for other courses as well. Granted, they are much more efficient if you have mushrooms, but don't be afraid to cut corners a little bit extra sharp in 200cc. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about playing 200cc. This video might have been a little shorter than I'd like, but really there's nothing more to know other than basic Mario Kart tips, which I guess I could go into a future episode if you'd like. But if you liked this tutorial, be sure to show your support by liking the video and leaving me a comment on what you'd like to learn how to play next. And if you absolutely thought this video was trash, I don't blame you, then please dislike the video and put a lot of angry faces down in the comments. Oh boy, what have I done? With all that said, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to subscribe to stay plugged in to the gaming outlets. Until next time, Internet.